Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry and it's time for some more Grimscar. Now in the last episode, Ellie came up against a horrible creature, the Amalgam Beast. Let's put her back over there for a moment because we're blatantly going to do something that I should have done in the last episode. And unfortunately this isn't remembering some kind of modifier I could have used. But it is remembering some kind of modifier I could have used. So, to clarify, in the final round of combat last time, Ellie with her reduced combat die rolled a 1, and the Amalgam Beast rolled an 8. Because it had a +2 bonus to its combat roll from her previous round of combat. She would need 8 points to reach that total. And I have some notes here, right, that I wrote down while I was uploading the previous episode, because yes, it's just like 10 minutes later. So, Ellie has used reserve, she's used patience. The Amalgam Beast has also used its reserve die. Ellie rolled a 1, the Amalgam Beast rolled an 8. A second major wound would kill her. She could use Rage to win the round and inflict a minor wound on the Amalgam Beast, because 10 plus 1 would go up to 11, not enough for a major wound. But she would at least still be in the fight. She would be rolling a d4 against its d6 for the rest of the fight, so she'd probably need to use not Sue, which is an Icelandic tradition of demanding compensation that goes back to the 9th century, something like that, possibly a little earlier, that Americans have become obsessed with and have formed a whole compensation culture around it. And hilariously, they call it compensation culture when they talk about suing someone. The ancient Icelanders never said sue, they said compensation. It's literally the word they used. And it was always monetary. You know, it'd be like, oh, you've killed my slave. Right, well, how much was your slave worth? I'll just pay you that many silver coins. And then we won't hold a grudge, we won't form a blood feud and go out killing each other. Because if we do, then we'll take you back to the law speakers and they will demand you pay me compensation for breaking the oath of peace. And, you know, yeah. So, she'd probably need to use her hatred and butchery as well to continue pushing for a second major wound, which would probably cost her a lot of her good stats. Her patience, pity, and hope will be screwed. Yeah. We'd kind of be relying on the foe rolling low a bit as well. But it would make for more interesting story arc as she'd struggle against adversity and like a redemption arc to try and recover from it. So let's go for it. I'm going to do that now while it's all fresh. If she lives, I save the game, pause the episode, record, continue the recording another time. And if she perishes, we at least know that she's properly finally dead. And I end the recording and continue another time and pop it all into one episode. So either way, we are going to use Rage, which will increase it. So, and we will need to roll on the Rage consequence table as we inflict a minor wound. Now, the Rage consequence table is a bad one. There are about 2 results, a 1 and a 6 that won't screw us over, so let's just see what happens. We get a 6. You channel your rage and follow through, howling as you hit the foe again and again, causing an extra minor wound. So we've gone up to a whole 3 minor wounds, and also lose 2 pity. Pity, hope, and patience cannot become negative, so it only goes down to 0. It would be nice to try and find those special trees again and carve in the Rune of Pity to gain some at some point. You know, a little bit of humanity goes a long way. That is a random event out in the forest, and we might not get it for quite some time. But Ellie is alive. She has not suffered a second major wound. But it's still not pretty. The fight against the dreaded Malgam Beast continues. Okay. Ellie rolls a 1. That is terrible. And the Malgam Beast rolls a 1 as well. Ooh. I like it. If we either go to another round of combat and suffer a risk of injury ourselves, and because we're rolling a d4, the Amalgam Beast could roll high enough to get a major injury and kill us again. Our chances of rolling double what it rolls are significantly less. However, because it's down on a 1, if we use Hatred or Butchery, we would get a double and kill it. The Hatred is losing hope. Not even always losing hope, actually. Ooh, and Butchery is also losing hope a lot as well. Or Charm. Let's go Hatred then. So we'll use our Hatred to add 6 points to get a 7, which will also increase our Hatred from a 6 to a 7, and inflict a second major wound, defeating the Amalgam Beast. And as we kill it, we get to roll on the creature major wound table just to enjoy results of how brutally and lethally we put it down. A 4. Broken Bone. I'll say we broke a bone. We broke everything vital in it. You strike the creature with your blunt sword, and the impact reverberates down your arm as you hear a crack. It flinches backwards as you see one of its limbs hangs limply, broken. It cannot use its trigger abilities in this combat and takes an extra minor wound, and, as it teeters on its feet, it collapses, all the life taken out of it. We have defeated the Amalgam Beast. There is no reward. And, having suffered such a horrific injury, we must now return to the town of Grimscar, which means we will remove everything non-permanent. So that goes, this goes, this goes, this goes. The twisted oaks and shattered tombstone remain. The hedge enclosure and old shack remain, because they are permanent features and because they each contain a lair as well. And I think we'd better go and see Martha Shaw while we're able to. Martha Shaw, the town herbalist. You turn down the narrow Ducat Street, and just beyond the Rat and Dice pub is the herb den, Martha's home. The door swings inward and you bend low beneath the beam and enter a dimly lit, cluttered space. A woman with shoulder-length hair turns away from grinding a pestle and mortar and greets you by your first name. "Ah, Ellie. What can I do for you today, then? Is that back of yours playing up again?" She smiles. "If you need a wound stitched, we do indeed. You show Martha." "Oh, my word, that is grim. Let me stitch it up for you. You must pay 1 copper coin for the service and use of resources. If you do not have a copper coin, then you can give her a gift of equivalent value. We do indeed have a copper coin. We're now down to 13, unlucky for some. So, your arm has been sliced, the skin opened out like a bloody mouth, and the wound is intense. It will need to be stitched before you can re-enter the forest. You must move directly back to Grimscar if you survive the combat, unless you have a bandage to bind it close. Do we have a bandage? Well, look, we've reduced a combat dice, so we really don't want to stick around anyway. It's been stitched. We've returned to town. You will still need to have it stitched. Yep. 1 combat die is downsized. Once stitched, you need to find some healing balm to remove the major wound. Make a note. We do have some healing balm. In fact, we found some extra this time. In fact, we got 1, 2, 4, 6. But it is in separate pots, and let's not get it all mixed up and try and lump it into one great big pot we're carrying around with us. So that's done. And it did not work. You cannot move the limb as well as before, and it hasn't healed. Do not remove the major wound, and instead you must complete the heal major wound quest again. Now, we didn't need to repeat it the first time. We only had to use a pot of healing balm. However, now... we will take the heal major wound quest, but interesting they chose to make breastplate 2 separate words. To resume. I would like to try and do that after we recover from our wound. If you have a major wound that needs tending rather than stitching, you may do this as many times as required. Oh my, take a seat. She assists you to a tree stump placed in the corner of the room by some hanging herbs. Breathe deeply. These are Thatcher herbs. Their smell is soothing. Now let me take a look. She examines the wound. This is bad. She puts the back of her hand against your forehead. You got this in the forest, didn't you? No need to say. I know the alderman has requested volunteers. You see her eyes well up. What I need is dory stem, and I hate to say it is only found in the fringes of the weald. I have none here, and it is my shame to have to send you back into that dark place to find a cure for something you incurred there. She pauses, turns to rummage through a drawer, and hands you an item. This is guraya root. When you eat it, it should help. Add guraya root to your inventory. When consumed, heal 1 minor wound. Okay. Well, that's going to help us at least. We should have used our magical scroll with the arrow scorched marked vellum against the beast. That might have helped us. The first tier 1 quest item that you find on your next journey into the Dark Weald is as follows. There is a leather pouch here, and inside is enough for 1 dose of dory stem. Excellent. We'll take that. The quest is then completed when you return to Martha and your major wound can be treated. Gain 1 reputation once the quest is complete. Well, that's good. You must rest in town for a week for every major wound you are healing. See inactivity section on page 15. And then there's a quest for healing herbs for the town, which is something nice we can look into in the future when we're not desperately trying to heal our life. So now, Ellie has survived. She will get to continue her quest. But it's 7 minutes past 7. I've been up since about 3 or 4 in the morning. I should probably stop here, try and get a little more rest, get a bite of food inside me or something. And record the rest of this episode a little bit later, when I have the time and energy to do so. Alright, I'm going to say goodbye for now. I'm glad we found a way to save Ellie, although at a horrific cost. She's completely zonked out of pity. Alright. Well, let's just hope she can find that event on the forest table that allows us to restore our good, what is it? Not massive trunk, hanging trees, fallen scouts. Something to do with bark, isn't it, on the trees? Increase around a shadowy grove. That's not it. Concealed ditch, frozen scene, no. Torture scene, no. I mean, these are all pretty horrific. Where the hell did we the glyph tree, 93 to 96. Not a permanent encounter. 4% chance of finding. Very slim. There might be other ways to... Yeah! Slithering... Oh, God. Yeah, defeating powerful creatures. So for now, though, I think Ellie needs to rest. We do get to progress the campaign to day 4, which will be the beginning of the next... Well, no, day 4 will not be the beginning of the next episode, because this is the next episode. So day 4 will be in a few seconds now, when I resume the recording, in the future. Now that I'm well rested, let us continue. So, Ellie is in a terrible state. She's suffered a horrible wound that has reduced her combat die from a D6 down to a D4, and is searching for healing supplies to alleviate this injury. We could have pushed on and attempted to finish the blacksmith's quest, which would again increase our combat die back up to a D6, and then go searching for the actual cure to go up to a D8. But it wouldn't really help. Now let's do a little bookkeeping. First off, she has rested overnight. Oh, you know what, actually. So, her minor wounds are all cured, but she doesn't have any. The major wound remains, so we have a very compelling reason to try and cure it, because just one will finish her off. Furthermore, we can sell the long leather coat and chemise for 6 copper coins. Also, we should remove the tier 1 quest item that we gave to the alderman 2 episodes ago. There we go. So 6 goes up to 19. If we can save up and purchase some good supplies to help us through, that's great. Exploring to the east in the previous episode was pretty disastrous, so we won't go that way again. We could head down to the Twisted Oak and spend 2 of our remaining free survival points, which is dangerous because sometimes we actually need to spend survival points for a 1 in 6 or 1 in 8 chance of immediately finding the item that we seek. I don't think we can afford to do that. So instead, I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13... No! 13, 14, 15... Yeah, okay. We could go there for 16. All right. Let's venture out once more into the corrupted, tainted forest, and we will see that I have added those bookmarks, like I said, to the tables. It is entirely possible something very bad could happen. Let's pray it is not the case. An 80. So, this page. Bloodied pentagram of... You know when I said it is entirely possible that something bad could happen just a few seconds ago? Oh, for God's sake, no! Oh. Several trees have been hacked down in this space, and rare grey light floods the scene. Bloodied splinters of wood lie scattered around, for whatever tore these trunks apart spread its blood among the debris. You hesitate, but creep slowly forward, expecting to see a corpse, but there is nothing. Instead, the red splinters shift, and you jump back in shock as they form a pentagram on the mulchy earth. From its centre rises a creature, tearing its way to the surface to burst free and stand before you, earth tumbling from its dirty body. It impulsively grabs up 2 branches and rams them into its skull, forming rough antlers. You see its hands are covered in black tar. It is a bow demon. You must fight it or run like fuck. We have... Oh, for goodness sake. Yeah. Without Bow Demon as a D10 for combat die, and its reserve die is a D8. We're going to have to run away. I really didn't want to do this. I really didn't want to do this. After... No, the after is we run away, and oh dear goodness, ouch. So we should flee the scene, which is going to, unfortunately, make us lose our last point of hope and gain 2 more wear. This is not ideal, obviously. Hope is gone. So, what I said about adventuring eastward seems like a really bad idea. Since we returned to town accidentally, I'm going to take it as not the end of our adventuring day. And in the interest of being... So 1... 2, very risky. Let's see if we can roll something better. 58. It's a different number at least. Shadowy Grove. Oh, wait. The Bow Demon was... Bloodied Pentagram. Got it. There we go. Can I... I can. Oh, that's so useful. That's 2 Bow Demons on the edge of town. That's horrific. Right. So... The trees grow in a tight cluster here, forming a shadowy grove. You must navigate it to continue. Roll a d6. Before you roll, you can spend 1 survival point to increase the total by 1. Yes, that would probably be a very good idea. This looks quite nasty. For a 7 now, that's quite nice. I saw the name of a powerful monster and did not wish to engage it. The temperature drops in the grove. If you have warmth 6 or lower, chilled to the bone, you leave quickly. Otherwise, you search the ground and find a silver brooch worth 20 copper coins. Well, that's nice. And because it's not Scottish, it's a brooch, not a brooch. I don't know why Scots and Americans spell brooch. Now look, to broach a subject, as in to breach a subject, is B-R-O-A-C-H. A brooch that you wear on your clothes as a decorative item of jewellery is B-R-O-C-H also. It's a homonym. Two words that are spelt the same, sound the same, but have different meanings. A brooch, B-R-O-O-C-H, is a Scottish way of spelling brooch. And Americans have used it to avoid confusing the two words when they, I don't know, because apparently it's so easy to do that. 1, 2, let us move on with our exploration. 34. And with my handy bookmarks, I can now go straight there. And then wish I hadn't. Charging creature. Oh, no. Okay. Okay, game. Nobody ever said it was going to be easy to find these healing herbs. Oh. You make your way through the dense trees and hesitate as you hear crashing up ahead. A tree comes down not far from you and a shockwave kicks up debris. Then the sound of stampeding can be heard coming towards you. A large beast bursts through the trees. Defend yourself against at mutated bull. Shouldn't it be a mutated bull or an mutated bull? Not. Roll d6. If you roll under your survival stat, you heard the danger and add +2 to your attack roll for the first round. Well, that's not going to happen because we are... Oh no, under. Our survival is 3 and we're rolling a d4. Wait, are we? No, we're rolling a d6. Damn it. Yes! We need that. If you survive, you move on. Or if you have encountered this bull before, then it is in fact a crazed forest cow that appears instead, and its eyes grow wide with fear as it flees because it's looking for a mutated bull. The creature has trampled a fallen trunk that has exposed some moss. If you want to... I presume that applies to both. Wait, no. If you survive, you move on. So only the forest cow does the trampling. Got it. Okay. So we have a monster. And we should probably... Wait. Probably down here. Come on, girl. Over. Oh my god! The mutated bull has a combat die of 10, or a d6 for reserve. Yeah, we gotta run away again. Unfortunately. Oh, bugger. Right. Well, that wasn't great, was it? Okay, so 2 more where, and hope is gone. We cannot face such a foe. Not in our current state, anyway. So 1, 2, 3, 4 back to town. 5, let's try to actually find something that won't kill us. Unfortunately, the mutated bull remains. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, sure. A 21. Hanging trees. Several of the trees here have objects hanging from their branches as if they were meant to be wind chimes. But as you draw closer, you realize these are no ordinary ornaments. Rather than tubes of wood, they are fingers, ears, and noses hanging from twine, each ripped from their owner, grisly tendrils of flesh swaying in the wind. The ground is covered in blood. You may inspect them or move on. If you do, roll d6, we can lose 2 hope, or we've got no hope. You can cut them down and burn them and gain a point of pity. Oh yeah, I'll find a silver ring. Yeah, okay, we shall interact. Theoretically, there's nothing to lose here. 5 plus 11. Oh, the 11's D100, so we rolled a 5. We should obviously have cleared dice. Silver ring. Okay. Worth 8. You know what? So that's 28. 47. We could go into town and buy some equipment to help ourselves. Let's try not to just yet. Hanging trees. Got it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because the retreat from combat doesn't count, so 6. Okay. We move on to an 88. Why does that seem familiar? Dark Recess. Oh, fuck no! I'll have Amalgam Beast. Right. The trees are well spaced here, and where the land dips down in amongst them, there is an overhanging rock formation. Before is a dark recess. Beneath this is a dark recess. You have to pass it to continue, and as you do, something happens. Roll d6. Before you roll, you can spend a point of survival to increase the total by 1. We absolutely want to do that because we don't want to fight Amalgam Beast. Bloody done it again. Right, hang on. 5. Again, so let's clear dice. Wait. No, 6 because we're adding the 1. Right. And a point of survival has been spent. We are running very low on survival. You hear some water and realize there is a pool in the recess. You look closer and find a dead body lying next to it. You think she might have been hiding here and perished. Roll on the found body table. There we go. It's a d6. A 5. Let me guess. One of it. Oh, I'm glad we didn't roll a 1. The body is long dead, but beneath it is a pack. Roll a d6 to search it. Let's absolutely do that. A 3. You find some dried mushrooms, enough for a ration. Okay. I mean, we do have plenty of healing items. It's just the actual danger itself we need to look through. Oh, what did we... 88. Dark Recess. Got it. Okay. So... 7. We are nearing the midpoint of our daily exploration. A 6. Low. Spiny vines. The trees here are covered in an unusual plant that you know has only recently appeared in the forest. The thick black vine has huge spines running its length. Something has been caught on them. Let's write it down first before we roll. So I don't get into a situation like I did last time. Here we go. And then a 4. Lovely. We didn't roll a 1. A crow has recently perched here, become caught, and died. The meat is fresh for a ration, and you can salvage a handful of black feathers. We'll take the black feathers, because we don't know if we'll ever have a need for them. It's possible one of the people back in the village might want that. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Backtrack for 8. We will not interact with the dark recess because it could be very dangerous. No, so, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, okay. 98. Very high end. Not a glyph tree. Withered grass. Oh, I see, monster. This is bad news for us. Now, at the moment, we want to try and avoid combat because our armor roll also uses our combat die. It's not a d6. The trees in this section have become grey and withered, their branches leaning low, making you stoop as you try and find a way through the sick forest. The earth appears as if ash apart from one section which you approach. Suddenly a slithering mass rises up from it and lumbers towards you. Roll a d6. If you roll under your survival stat, which is now even more reduced, you spotted the danger and gain +2 to your attack roll in the first round. Well, let's be honest, that's probably not going to happen. It did not happen. If you survive the combat, you notice the trees gain back some of their colour. Ridding this place of the creature means you gain 1 hope and 1 survival, which would be lovely if we could fight. The creature was feeding off the area where it had settled, and where it had settled the earth has been turned over. Revealed from below... Oh god, it could be a second slithering mass. I'm not seeing any quest items. I see a quest item. Damn it. I also strongly suspect we are in no fit state. Oh, wait, actually. There's a little bit of a chance. A mass of earth and tar that rises up and slithers towards you. We can try. So we're not getting +2. We can guarantee 3 minor wounds at the cost of horrific self-loss. And we might need to. So, Ellie attacks with her blunt sword and gets a 2, which is tragic. The foe slithers up and gets a 3, which means we can go for a major wound. Butcher is our lowest, and that'd push us to a 7, so it would be a major wound. Let's use foul butchery and hack at this thing. Consequence. So first off, we're going to inflict a major wound. And our butcher will go up to a 6. However, it's a d6 of horribleness. A 1. You become crazed, determined to see the creature's blood, and you wildly swing your weapon, but it's uncontrolled and the foe easily sidesteps and hits you. Gain 2 minor wounds and lose 2 hope. We can take 2 minor wounds. We have no hope left to lose, and there's no consequence to going below nothing, disturbingly. And we've inflicted a creature major wound. So, throw in a 10-sider and see what we can do. 7. Severed hand. Or we chop off part of its slithering mass. Like that some of that little bit there that looks vaguely hand-shaped. One of the creature's hands, or hooves, or protuberances goes flying, a streak of blood following it. It howls with rage but keeps on coming. It downsizes 1 combat die and cannot use its trigger abilities in this combat. It also has -1 on its attack rolls. That is great. Now, it has occurred to me that we upgraded our 2 to a 7. That is within half. It should have used its... It should have used its reserve die. Fuck, that didn't happen. Should have used its reserve die to fuck us up. Which means it wins the round. 3 goes to an 8. That would be some major win. That would kill us. Yeah, that would be bad. Well, clearly I should have thought of it at the time, because I think, doesn't the enemy boost first? There might be a reason for it not to do that. Yeah, I'm kind of plucking at straws here. Adding reserve dice. So, you can use reserve die once roll it. Yeah. The enemy also has reserve die. If it draws a round, the same. It will use reserve die. If it loses a round, so there isn't a series of steps to go through to determine, like, enemy adds its reserve die first, then we add ours. Well, now that I've clarified that, I think I should re-roll its reserve die and try to stay alive. And now it's probably going to get even higher. That's the wrong one. 2. That's better. So now it's down to a d4 in combat as well. It's lost its reserve die, taken a major wound, and gets -1 on combat. So we're in with a chance. Ellie rolls a d4. She gets a 3. The slithering mass rolls a d4 -1 and gets a 0. That's a second major wound. That is excellent. Creature major wound. You never know. It could be something very impressive. A 9. Chunk of flesh. You lop off a chunk of flesh from the foe and it visibly shrinks away as the bloody mess slops to the ground. The creature now has an additional -1 to its attack rolls. And it's also on its second major wound. Whatever this slithering mass is, it's not very resistant to being chopped apart by a blunt sword. Ellie rolls a 4. And the creature rolls a 1, -2 is -1. Third major wound, it is dead. But for flavour, we get to roll. A 2. The creature rips the attack rips the enemy's limb from the socket. It howls, but does not fight on, does not downsize 1 combat die, and dies. We gain 1 reputation as a reward. Because when we get back, we'll be able to tell people of the impressive battle that we fought. Our reputation is now a 5. Excellent. And it can't trigger abilities because of the first serious wound we inflicted on it, which is why I wasn't paying too much attention to those in that encounter. Now, back to the withered grass. Ridding this place of this creature means you gain 1 hope and 1 survival point. That's really good. We will get that point of hope and try not to lose it, and a point of survival and try not to lose that. Roll on the revealed from below table and add +1 to the total. Nice. So d12 plus 1. Okay, so +1 isn't very big in this case, but we still get it. 5. There are several vegetables here, which surprises you because the earth appears grey and dusty. Let's see what we got. Turnips. You can use 1 for a ration and sell the rest in town for 2 copper coins, or give them away and gain 1 reputation point. Ooh, okay. If she comes in with a badly damaged arm and with vegetables and turnips and gives them away in town, yeah, she's absolutely getting a reputation point. For now, though, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, we can just do it. 70. Our dangerous exploration continues. Torture scene. Oh! You notice a woman kneeling at a tree stump. As you move closer, you see her palms have been nailed into the top of a stump. Let's roll and see how bad this could possibly be. A 4, not a 1. Excellent. You step closer and see she is dead. You release her and bury her body. Lose 1 hope. We just got that back. What a depressing incident. But at least we didn't have to fight an Eidolon. We're going to have to come back through this hex enemy on our way into town. Ah, but we don't want to flee it, so... yeah. Let's encounter it now. Because if we have to run away from it, then we won't make it back in time for nightfall. 82. Nothing nasty, please. Well, bound woman. You push on through the emaciated trunks, still no trail clear, and the air seems cold. If you have warmth 7 or lower, lose 1 patience. Well, our warmth is 11, and we don't want to lose patience. A flash of colour catches your eye. You approach cautiously and realise it is a woman in a dark blue high-collared dress tied to a tree. Oh, for fuck's sake, You step closer and the head lifts. She whimpers and begs to be released, but her eyes are white, circled with black, making her appear blind, and her skin grey and pocked with sores. She pauses and then spreads her arms, exploding her bonds to jump down and attack you, hair flying behind her. This is an Eidolon, and you must defend yourself. After, you search for space and find a ruined grave, gain 1 survival point, and roll on the found in rubble table. I presume that's the item in rubble table. And I also suspect we may have to run away. Probably be good to end this adventuring day anyway. How bad can you be? Deadly is the word. Right. 2 major wounds will do it, though. Okay. So she swings into a rage, eyes white, hair held high by some unseen force, and she is a horrific monster. Oh! Okay. Well then. Ellie, do your best. A 4. That's great. What's not so great is she's going to be rolling an 8-sider, and the monster gets a 3. We inflict a minor wound. We could push for a major. 7 minor wounds to kill. I think we should. If we go Butcher again, push it back up to a 6. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to write the word Eidolon without an apostrophe, because we know it's an actual thing. So, back to Butchery. It's always a 6-sider on the consequence tables. 4. You scream as you try to hit the enemy, but your attack is deflected and you stumble back. -1 on your next attack roll. We can take a -1 on the next attack roll. That'll be fine. So, Ellie gains a total of 3, so 4 -1. And the Eidolon, an 8. Now that's rather bad for us. But if we go full-on rage mode here, adding an 11, because our reserve die would only push that to a 11 goes to 14. That's more than half her reserve die of D6, so she's not going to use it. And rage table a 2. You lose control. The attack ripping through your body. Your savage attack knocking you off balance. -3 to your next attack roll. Lose 1 pity and gain 1 wear, but your opponent is dead, so the next attack roll bit doesn't matter. But losing a point of pity does matter. No, it doesn't. We have none left. But 1 wear, that does matter. So 30 wear means, oh God, that our minor wounds death line has dropped to 7. Pretty bad. And now we have to 82. After you search for space and find a ruined grave, gain 1 survival point, which we will do. Up to 4 survival, which means we should probably just go back to the heart spaces and the trees and try there. And roll on the found in rubble table. So item in rubble. It's a 6-sider. 3. There is a pouch of leaves hidden here. You carefully open them and see they are brachia. If you eat these, you will restore 1 minor wound and gain 1 survival point. Not that we're getting a lot of minor wounds at the moment. And roll on the body search table as well. Excellent. 12-sider it is. A 7. A pouch is bandaged inside her clothes with 2d6 gold crowns. Excellent. Well, 8. We are now in possession of a decent amount of coins and should consider returning to town to purchase equipment. And that has mercifully not become a lair hex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, we will continue our quest for healing and get an 11. Clacking boughs. Ooh. The trees here are tightly packed, and none of the branches knocked together, and some of the branches knocked together, creating a clacking sound. Roll a d6. Now, if we roll a 5 to 6, you know you will not find this again, as the area is so cluttered and knotted. The others, I presume we can get more than once. But let's first mark... Oh, no, we'll roll it. We got the dice roller open. Oh, for God's sake. A 6 plus 60 is 66. I need to be more careful with the dice roller. Clearly, you know, getting out of bed about 4 in the morning and recording about 5 is not ideal. You push on through and spot a hole in one of the larger trees. Roll on the heart chamber table. You know you will not find this again, as the area is so cluttered and knotted. This is a nice table with some good things on it, but it's only a d6. Please give me a good number. A 3. You reach in and pull out a prickly object, and we roll again. It's a spike ball. See page 33 for more details. Okay. Oh, wait. Is that the weapon? I think it is. It bloody is. Okay. Okay. Now we keep our blunt sword because it is our default weapon in case we ever lose our main weapon, but we now have an actual weapon, a spiked ball and chain. That's excellent. It may have helped us significantly. Let's venture onwards in our exploration. A 34. Charging creature again. We've encountered the bull already. So a crazy forest cow that appears, takes one look at us, its eyes grow wide with fear and it flees. It's trampled a fallen trunk that has exposed some moss which we can benefit from. Potentially. And because we've already had charging creature, this one... I think it would be nice to change this to... if you have encountered this bull earlier today, rather than ever. Unusual moss. A 10-sider. Okay. 2. Please don't attack us. The red colour that drew your attention is in fact blood. It is covered with it, making it useless. In which case we'll go an hour, our final exploration roll of the day. 41. Tree stumps. Oh, bollocks. Okay, let's just write it down first before we commit to anything. You come to an area where 5 or 6 trees have been felled. The stumps are old, though, as this happened years ago. Saplings have filled the area. You spot something on a stump. Well, let's roll for it then. A 6. Please be a quest item. The stump has been hollowed out, and inside is a Tier 1 quest item. So we have found, inside the hollowed out stump, a leather pouch containing enough for 1 dose of Dory's stem. Oh! Oh! We'll head back past the place where the bound woman was dead, return to town shortly before nightfall. We'll have our visit to come on. Approachable Martha Shaw. We give her the Dory's stem. Major wound can be treated. Gain 1 reputation once the quest is complete. So, another point of reputation. And I need to be a little stricter on dice rolls with the dice roller, making sure I don't have the percentile dice up when I roll other dice, and pay a little more attention to when creatures should boost in combat, and know that it's not I boost first then they boost, or they boost first then I boost. It goes... So presumably if I roll my reserve die, then they can choose to roll theirs. If I use a combat stat, they generally don't get a chance to use theirs, but it is horrific. So the wound is healed, meaning we're back up to a d6 to fight again. I will remove the badly cut arm, or should I? Should I put it as... hang on. Because we have our scar here somewhere, right? I'll put it here. However, we do need to rest in town for a week for this injury to heal properly. A week for every major wound you are healing. How many major wounds could you be healing? So we get to go visit the inactivity section. For every week you spend in the town either healing up or being distracted, you lose 1 reputation and 2 hope points. So fortunately we gained a point of reputation. So we go down to 5 and 2 hope. No hope to lose. It's pretty hopeless at the moment. And gain an additional free wear, which is really bad. We did have a quest, I think, that would reduce our wear. I think it may have even been one from Martha Shaw. Herbs of a Town. Nephew, Irving Yardley. Yeah. Speckled Chamomile. Point of Reputation. Okay. And lose one wear. So, Herbs of a Town. Good one to go for on repeat a few times. And now we have a nice fancy weapon. So while we're in town healing during this week, we will additionally, that'll go from day 4 then to day 11 will be our next day of exploring. No, wait. We went out adventuring on day 4, so 7 plus 4 is 11. So are we going adventuring on day 12 then next time? Surely. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so day 12 will be our next day of exploration. We will resume the blacksmith's quest. For our next episode. I'll move this up from there. And so we got that's not an item, it's a weapon, so we just got it up there. We will give away the turnips for a point of reputation. Taking us back up to 6. And then sell the silver brooch and silver ring for another 28. Taking us to 54, 55. Which means while we are at the blacksmiths, we could make a purchase of armor. Not an entirely bad idea, and I think I probably should. Yeah, we'll get that thick leather coat. So that'll get us a little more protection. It's not ideal, but it'll do. 45. So that'll give us 12 coins left. And we'll talk to him again about going looking for the hammer to make the breastplate. Do we have anything else we can sell? Probably, but let's just hold off for now. I think that's got us good going into the next episode. And with that, I'll end this one here. I hope you've all enjoyed this episode. That one odd combat instance of a bad roll of, oh dear God, no, aside. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now, everyone, and cheerio.